right, let us get started. Another spiritual teaching coming from me. I am who I am. That's all that matters. So, don't let worldly circumstances dictate who you are as an individual. I could say, like, as far as me, to give an example, people, we go through stuff, in school, growing up, with our family, if you got siblings, brothers and sisters, sometimes we fight with these people, even our friends, think about it, think about that too, your friends, and we get into situations where we get into arguments, debates, or maybe even physical fights. And we, as individuals, we allow that to, take control of us. And now, as we go through life, we let one situation lead to another. And then the next situation lead to another. So you go from growing up in school, dealing with people, dealing with your friends. Maybe you got bullied. Maybe you weren't the smartest, in school, and people picked on you about that. I know for me, I could say my situation, I was always verbally bullied. I never really fit in. I wasn't the coolest, but at the end of the day, I was always myself. And I could also say through my journey throughout life that I let that change me, and I became worse as an individual because I let it change me. And what happens. I wouldn't say beat yourself up about it. I would hope you don't beat yourself up about it, because at the end of the day, you got to understand we live in a world where everything is not peachy and creamy. You might be a very, very good-hearted individual, just like myself. But at the end of the day, don't blame anybody, and don't blame yourself, because everybody going through something. It's just a way of life as of right now. That's why we need to call on God. We need to start talking to God, because that right there will set you free. God will set you free. But that's for another time. I guess back to my example is I let certain situations change me, even with my family, dealing with, my siblings, dealing with my grandfather, dealing with my cousins, and dealing with, even certain parental figures that I'm not going to necessarily put that business out as of right now. I became a dark person, and I shut myself off from the world. And honestly, I could say just recently I've changed that. I try to be by myself. I'm by myself right now, but I don't do that all the time anymore. When I was going through what I was going through, and I let the world dictate who I was as a person, I would always shut everybody off. I didn't want to talk. I always told myself, man, I don't want no friends. I went through a bad relationship as well. That's another example. I told myself after that, man, I can't deal with no women right now. You know what I mean? I don't even want to deal with it, And that really messed up a lot of things in my life, for the simple fact that, there are genuine people out here, and the world is going to attack you. That's just the way it is. You have to know that people, they are where they are, but you can't let where they are become where you are. So the world is going to come at you. The world, it's like a test. You know what I mean? It's in a sense. And just think about it like that. Think about it like it's a test, because at the end of the day, people are going to test you. And it's going to seem like it's unfair, but it's up to you. You know what I mean? Because I had to make the decision to realize, am I not going to talk to people for the simple fact that I went through this and I went through that? No, because at the end of the day, now I'm cutting off potential relationships, potential friendships, potential business partners. What else? Just networking in general and being happy, like overall happiness. I'm cutting myself off from overall happiness in general. So, like I said, just recently I stopped doing that, and I realized like now I can see, who I can deal with and who I can't deal with. Who has my best interest versus who doesn't. But one thing we also have to understand is just because you meet somebody who might try to be sarcastic, who might try to give you a backhanded comment, which is kind of like somebody saying something nice to you, but also like disrespectful at the same time. Just because you might meet somebody who might try to talk under their breath about you or, say little things about you, doesn't mean that you couldn't learn something from that individual at the end of the day. Because I've also realized that too. Like, I always told myself, I'm not dealing with people like that, but you're going to end up meeting somebody that you need. You're going to need that individual eventually. Just like they might not want to admit it, but they're going to need that good-hearted person, you. They're going to need you. So just because, people have their certain ways, that don't mean don't talk to them, because you never know what you can get from them intellectually. Or even, like I said, in a situation where you actually might need them. For instance, sometimes I need to get places, and I don't have it to get where I need to get. I meet people all the time. Even though I used to be a certain way, I stopped being that way. I know how to open my mouth now. A closed mouth will never get fed. And everybody in this world, we need each other at the end of the day. So don't beat them up. Don't beat yourself up. Okay? And another thing, you know what I mean? If you don't know about these things, you might want to look into them. Because going down that dark path, you could become narcissistic, which is kind of like selfish, and also victimizing yourself all the time, always playing that victim role. You could become depressed, and that goes into cutting yourself off from the world and from people and from emotions. And ultimately, I also feel like you can become delusional. Like, I feel like delusion is very key because it makes you scatterbrained. You don't know what's what. You feel like you don't know what's real, what's not. And yeah, ultimately you can become delusional, or you can become angry. And you don't want to feel none of these feelings. So if you don't understand what any of these things mean, go to Google, hit the the microphone, and just say these words into the microphone and get the definition. But at the end of the day, keep your heart open. Don't let nobody ever do something or say something to you to the point where now you don't even know who you are. Now you got to go through life. You're making mistakes. You're doing this. You're doing that, and you don't understand why. Why is everything going the way it's going? Well, it's an energy thing. God as well. God first. But your energy center, you have to be balanced. You can't let people have you on the left, going left. You got to be going right. If it's not for them, do it for you. You know what I mean? And eventually, once you have that inner peace, you'll do it for others. And you'll start to realize, like, okay, this person is just where they at right now. I have to understand, I have to love them for where they at. You know what I mean? You don't have to deal with it, but you don't want to harbor the energy and be like, nah, I hate you because you did this, you did that. Now, you talking and you're speaking negatively. You're bringing that negative energy towards you, and God really don't like ugly. You know what I mean? We're all beautiful, beautiful beings, but we just gotta be able to harness the fact that it's an energy thing. And when you learn to speak positively over your situations and think positively over your situations and understand, then you become more at peace, and now you stop letting other people get into your energy. So that's all I really got to say on that. I hope this reaches somebody, and I hope it gets through, because at the end of the day, you deserve to be at peace within your mind and within your heart. We all do. So take the message, and just know that I'm here for you. I send out positive love and positive energy to the world. Even for the ones out here who don't like me. You know what I mean? This is what you have to, this is how you have to be. Because when you do stuff like that, your light overshines the dark. It takes over at that point. So we sending out positive energy over here and love and light. And you know, if we can't deal with it, we got to walk away from it. But we got to understand where they at. So if we see them next time, we know how to deal with them. We know what space to keep them at. You know what I mean? Arm's length in the spiritual sense. But yeah, man, peace and love.